Hi, I figured since school is approaching and it's now August that it wouldn't be a bad idea. I'm not going to be starting school for the first time ever this August, but I graduated in May from college from VCU, and I graduated summa cum laude, which is, you know, the top of your class, with an overall 3.9 GPA. And I figured it would not be a bad idea to give like 5 really good tips that helped me throughout my entire college experience and helped me maintain and have really good grades. So if you're interested, keep watching. I'm just gonna share like I guess more so habits that I stuck with that helped me excel in my classes. Number 1, which a lot of people don't follow but should, is always attend class. That's something that I could not recommend more than anything else. Like, people would skip class because they felt like there's no point, but I thought of it this way. You're paying for your classes, and each single class, you can do the math, and like for me it was like nearly $100 per class, so I was not gonna miss a class that I was paying my own money for. And that was something that you also don't miss any material that way. And if there's pop quizzes or anything that's important that's going to be on your exam, a lot of professors also gave bonus points, like extra credit, just for being there when most of the class was not there. And that was usually like before breaks, people would leave early or like skip classes and stuff like that. So yeah, don't miss class. My second tip, it's just having all the materials ahead of time and not getting things late, because it'll really screw you over in the long run. A lot of people would be like, oh, I don't need the book, and sometimes that is true. Sometimes you have classes where you don't need the book, but it's better to be safe than sorry, and it's better to have your materials and be prepared and end up not needing it than to not have them and end up needing them. So for example, I had an advanced writing course to finish my English minor, and we had a book that we didn't necessarily need throughout the course, but I did get it before the class started. So I had usually always have my books before the class starts, because usually it'll be available through the syllabus that they'll give you access to ahead of time, or on Blackboard, which is the platform that my university used for just like online material and stuff like that. And also during the first day, the professor will tell you what books you need, and often they will like say, sometimes they do say like, oh, you need this book, but you're not needing it. But even so, for example, like my writing course I was talking about, we didn't really use it throughout the course, but there were certain assignments where it helped me immensely to use it and to have it with me as a tool. And I was able to do some assignments that other people struggled with getting the material for because I had that book. So that's my second tip. Third tip is to not leave anything last minute. There was not a single paper I did the night before, which sounds hard to believe, but I personally, like, my brain, it goes insane if I try to do anything last minute. I get really nervous and anxious and I can't think straight. So actually my last year of college, I did not have an agenda. I just didn't need one. I would just make sure I didn't need one because I did all the assignments right when they were assigned. So if something was assigned on Wednesday and it was due on Friday, I would do it that Wednesday night. That's how I operated. But having an agenda, staying on track, that's another like really good thing to do things ahead of time and not leave anything for last minute. My fourth tip, which is not something that everyone does, but to use all your resources available. By that I mean go to talk to professors. I think the most helpful thing when I was struggling in classes was to go to my professor and ask them for help, and ask them specifically what they wanted grading wise when it came to term papers, because each professor is very different in terms of how they grade and how they want your writing to come off. And the more you email them asking questions, yes, it might be a little annoying to them, but it'll help you in the long run because you'll get exactly what they want. So like if a paper was assigned and they mention it in class, I would be one of the first kids to raise my hand and ask as many questions on how they wanted the sources cited, what like font, like format, everything in regards to format, style, length, anything you can think of. And I also made sure my topics were approved Often professors, at least in political science, they'll want to have an understanding of what you're writing about before it's actually turned in, especially in my upper levels, so that's another thing. And my last tip is something that I did that I don't recommend, but that would be just don't like take classes just because they're fun or easy. Take classes that you will benefit from and that will benefit your major or your career goals. And I often looked into like what the easiest electives were and stuff like that, and they honestly aren't always true, but also like looking up like Rate My Professors, a lot of those are often pretty accurate. So I do recommend, like, if you're trying to plan out your classes right now, definitely do your research into the professors and do try to like get the best schedule you can. I commuted for a lot of my time in school, and so I didn't have that luxury of getting to pick like what kind of scheduling, but I myself know that I learn the best in the morning and the afternoon, and I took a lot of night classes because I had to, and they didn't really, it was hard for me to stay focused compared to if I took like a 9 a.m. Just again, know yourself, schedule and take classes based on like how you learn best, and again, what kind of professor you want, and also what will help you the most in terms of getting skills that you want to further yourself in your career once you graduate. Those are my like tips. It's pretty short, but I think those are like the best things that I can advise you. Again, it's also just about priorities. I always put full school first and my classes and assignments first before any sort of social thing, and even work, I scheduled school first. So if you really want to excel, you need to prioritize it, and you also need to do the work, and you need to not procrastinate. So I hope this is helpful. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions or you want any other tips or advice type of videos, just let me know. I'm more than happy to make some more content. Don't forget to like this if you liked it, and subscribe if you want to see more from me.